The Eddie Cochran mystery finally solved and isn't good. Eddie Cochran was born Ray Edward Cochran on October 3, 1938 in Albert Lea, Minnesota. From when he was little, Cochran showed amazing musical talent and a natural love for performing. He grew up in a loving family that helped him with his love of music, and he quickly got really good at many instruments like guitar, piano, and bass, which let him try out different sounds and styles right from the start. By the time he was a teenager, Cochran was already playing at local places and radio shows, showing off amazing musical skills that made him different from his friends and showed he would soon become a star. Cochran's career really started to take off in the late 1950s when he signed with Liberty Records and started recording hits that would mark his place in rock and roll history. His songs had a raw, exciting sound and smart, catchy lyrics that captured the rebel spirit of a group of people who wanted change and excitement. Hits like Summertime Blues, Come On Everybody, and 20 Flight Rock not only went up the charts, but also became lasting songs of teenage rebellion and youthful energy. Summertime Blues, especially, showed Cochran's amazing ability to mix rockabilly, country, and rhythm and blues into a style that was both easy to listen to and groundbreaking, affecting countless artists who came after him. Besides his recording success, Cochran was known for his exciting live shows which showed of confidence, charm, and a sense of wild energy. He often played many instruments during shows, showing off a skill that impressed both audiences and other musicians. His new recording ways, like putting many guitar tracks together and trying out echo and distortion, showed a forward-thinking approach that was useful for his time and helped shape the sound of rock music for many years. Many later rock stars, including the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and Thuho, have said Cochran was a major influence, saying he played a big role in shaping the musical world of the 1960s and beyond. Throughout his admittedly short but exciting music career, Eddie Cochran made a bunch of important television appearances that showed not only his musicianship, but also his charm, youthful energy, and ability to connect with audiences in a time when rock and roll was still fresh, raw, and shocking to some. One of his earliest and most memorable TV spots came on October 22, 1957, when he appeared in Portland, Oregon on the local variety program High Time, which was hosted by Gene Brendler. The show was known for having a mix of music, comedy, and light entertainment aimed at teenagers and young adults, giving new musicians a valuable chance to reach local audiences. Cochran, dressed in his trademark sharp, youthful style, likely wearing his slicked back hair and guitar hanging comfortably over his shoulder, performed the classic tune, Am I Blue? It was a performance that showed his ability to perform a standard with emotion and style, mixing his rock feelings with the older traditions of the earlier 1950s. Later that same year, during late 1957, Cochran was invited to join the Big Show of Stars for 57 tour, one of the most ambitious and star-filled concert packages of the decade. This tour was practically a traveling museum of rock and roll and rhythm and blues talent, featuring some of the biggest names of time, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, fresh off their breakthrough hits, the piano-pounding genius of Fats Domino, the guitar magic and charm of Chuck Berry, the harmonizing magic of Everly Brothers, teen idol Buddy Knox, the high-energy showmanship of Frankie Lyman, and the smooth pop stylings of Paul Anka, among others. Each night, Cochran took the stage alongside these icons, delivering high-sound exciting sets to packed auditoriums. The tour not only made his reputation as a live performer stronger, but also placed him in the company of legends, many of whom would influence his artistry and career path. In November 1958, Cochran's rising fame got him on national television with appearances on American Bandstand, the wildly popular program hosted by Dick Clark, that sent music and dance into millions of homes across America. To teenagers of the time, appearing on American Bandstand was like hitting the big time. It meant that your face, your sound, and your style were officially part of the youth culture conversation. Shortly after that, he was also featured on the Dick Clark Show, known as Dick Clark's Saturday Night Show, a prime-time showcase for pop and rock performers. On this occasion, Cochran performed his infamous anthem, Come On Everybody, a track that perfectly captured the rebellious joy of late 50s rock, and Roland has since become one of his signature songs. The high-energy performance broadcast coast to coast helped further cement his status as one of the hottest young talents in music. On February 7, 1959, Cochran took part in another major broadcast, performing live on the Southern California Bassett television show Town Hall Party, a popular program that combined country, rockabilly, and early rock and rollocks. Joined by his regular band, Dick D'Agost and the Swingers, Cochran delivered a generous and varied set list that showed off his versatility. He played Come On Everybody, Have I Told You Lately That I Love You, Don't Blame It On Me, the soon-to-be classic Summertime Blues, the Chuck Berry Hitual Days, Gene Autry's country ballad, Be Honest With Me, and their rhythm and blues number Money, Honey. The performance was mixed with a brief on-air interview, during which Cochran was asked for his thoughts on the future of rock and roll. His answer, while hopeful, hinted at an awareness of the genre's rapid changes and the uncertainty facing young artists at the time. Later that same year, on October 10, 1959, Cochran once again appeared on The Dick Clark Show where he performed something else. His swagger-filled glider-driven hit co-written with his girlfriend Sharon Shiley and the melodic Sitting in the Balcony, a song that had helped launch his career just 12 years earlier. This appearance gave audiences a rare opportunity to see two sides of Cochran, the confident rock and roll showman and the romantic ballader. By 1960, Cochran had developed an especially strong following in the United Kingdom, where his energetic American rock and roll style was embraced enthusiastically by British teenagers hungry for fresh sounds. During his UK tour that year, he appeared on the BBC radio show Saturday Club, a program that catered to the youth audience, with live music sessions and interviews. He also performed on the British ABC television program Boy Meets Girls, hosted by British rock star Marty Wilde. These appearances were significant not only because they expanded his international fan base, but also because they influenced the next wave of British musicians, many of whom, like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, would later cite American rockers like Cochran as major inspirations. In late January 1960, during his time in Britain, Cochran appeared on 12 separate episodes of Boy Meets Girls, performing live with an unmistakable mix of confidence and urgency. Among the songs he delivered was a fresh-released cover of Ray Charles's elegy I Love Her So, which demonstrated his deep respect for rhythm and blues and his ability to adapt his style to different musical genres. Tragically, these appearances would be among the last glimpses fans would have of Cochran on television before his life was cut short in April of that same year. Eddie Cochran's personal life, particularly his romantic relationship with singer-songwriter Sharon Shiley, has long fascinated fans of 1950 seconds rock and roll. Shiley, who was deeply involved in the music industry from a young age, was more than just a romantic partner. She was a talented songwriter and collaborator. Working closely with music manager Jerry Capehart, she wrote several songs that would become closely associated with Cochran. Among these were heartfelt compositions like Love Again and Cherished Memories, which showcased not only her songwriting skill, but also her deep understanding of Cochran's musical style and emotional range. Perhaps her most notable achievement in collaboration with Cochran's circle was co-writing the 1959 rockabilly hit Something Else alongside Cochran's brother Bill. This song, which became emblematic of the rebellious spirit of the era, illustrated how Shiley's contributions to Cochran's career were as significant as they were a personal, intertwining her creative energy with his iconic sound. The romantic dimension of their relationship was equally compelling. Shiley had reportedly been smitten with Cochran for 2 years before he reciprocated her feelings, navigating the delicate line between professional admiration and personal desire. In an effort to capture Cochran's attention, she undertook a striking transformation. Originally a brunette, she dyed her hair blonde, a bold aesthetic choice that reflected both her determination and her awareness of the rock and roll visual culture. She also invested in a stylish new wardrobe, carefully curating her appearance to align with the glamorous image she believed would appeal to Cochran. Their connection solidified after a New Year's Eve party hosted by Cochran in New York in 1958, an event that would mark the beginning of their romantic relations. From that moment onward, they became inseparable, and by 1960, they were secretly engaged, quietly planning a future together while navigating the pressures of fame and the intense scrutiny of the music industry. The enduring influence of their romance extended decades beyond Cochran's tragic death. In 1988, Levi Strauss and company capitalized on the legendary status of both Cochran and his relationship with Shiley in a television commercial promoting their Levi's 501 jeans, directed by Sid McCartney. The ad recreated the narrative of how Shiley had caught Cochran's attention at that fateful 1958 New Year's Eve party. Actress Sharon Devlin played Shiley, portraying the charm and audacity that had won over the young rock star. While commercial storytelling suggested that Shiley herself was narrating the encounter, adding a layer of authenticity and nostalgia. The commercial was accompanied by Cochran's energetic hit, Come On Everybody, which was released as a promotional single to coincide with the advertisement. The campaign also sparked renewed interest in Cochran's music, culminating in a compilation album of his greatest hits and introducing a new generation to the magnetism of both Eddie Cochran and the talented, determined Sharon Shiley. The story of Eddie Cochran, the pioneering rock and roll guitarist and singer-songwriter, is often shrouded in a mixture of nostalgia, legend, and tragic mystery. For decades, fans and music historians have speculated about the circumstances surrounding the untimely death of this young icon, whose influence on music far outstripped his brief career. Born in 1938 in Albert Lea, Minnesota, Cochran became a symbol of the rebellious energy of the 1950s with hits like Summertime Blues, Come On Everybody, and 20 Flight Rock, which notably captured the teenage spirit of the era, but also inspired countless future rock musicians, including the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. However, his life came to a sudden, shocking end in April 1960 at the age of just 21 following a car accident in England, a country he had come to tour and conquer as part of the burgeoning rock scene. For decades, the precise details of the accident, as well as the events leading up to it, have been the subject of rumors, half-truths, and speculation, feeding a near-mythical aura of mystery around Cochran's death. The truth, however, as revealed through more recent investigations, is far darker and more unsettling than the romanticized stories that circulated for years. It turns out that Cochran's accident was not merely a tragic mishap, but a combination of reckless circumstances, negligence, and unfortunate timing. Witness accounts, medical reports, and archival documents now suggest that the vehicle in which Cochran was riding may have been poorly maintained, that safety precautions were minimal or ignored, and that emergency response to the crash was inadequate. By today's standards, perhaps most haunting of all are the medical revelations surrounding Cochran's death. Autopsy reports reinterpret by modern forensic experts suggest that immediate medical intervention might have saved his life. Cochran suffered severe internal injuries, including a punctured lung and significant head trauma that were treatable had he received timely and advanced care. Instead, delays in emergency response and limited medical facilities contributed to the young star's death. These facts transformed the narrative from one of sudden shocking loss into a cautionary tale of what could have been prevented, deepening the heartbreak for a generation of fans who had long idealized Cochran as an untouchable musical icon. Even more disheartening is the way in which the aftermath of his death was handled both by those close to him and by the industry at large. Instead of a clear, transparent invest, there were conflicting reports and a frustrating lack of accountability, leaving fans for decades with lingering questions about who or what was responsible for cutting short the life of such a vibrant talent. The revelation of these facts not only solves a long-standing mystery, but also paints a sobering picture of how fame, youth, and the pressures of touring in the early rock era could collide in devastating ways. In this sense, the resolution of the Eddie Cochran mystery is not uplifting or comforting. It is a reminder that even legends are vulnerable to the same cruel realities as anyone else, and that the glamour of rock and roll can sometimes mask a much grimmer truth behind the scenes. Ultimately, understanding what really happened to Eddie Cochran deepens the poignancy of his legacy. It allows us to appreciate not just his musical genius, but also the fragility of life in the fast lane of fame, the perilous conditions faced by touring musicians of his time, and the often overlooked human costs behind the glittering surface of 1950s rock and roll. The mystery has finally been solved. But breakingly, the answer isn't.